How many snaps did they run in the 14 personnel?
That's only for us.
100% of the snaps.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into 14P Fantasy. I am your host, Justin Wright. Today, we're not really so much giving out advice as we are, taking a look back at this 2021 rookie class, redrafting it for Dynasty, in those rookie drafts that you did way back in May or April or whenever the hell you did them. It's time to take a look. I mean, did we get it right? Did people get it wrong? So we're going to take a look here first. We're looking at the original ADP. This is from DLF, Dynasty League Football. They run mock drafts throughout the season, throughout the year. This was the original ADP back in May when we had those rookie drafts going on. So as we can see, Najee, Jamar Chase, Pitts, three no-brainers. Travis Etienne, obviously hampered by an injury, has not played this season. Then you got Javonte, Devonta, Jalen Waddle, Rashod Bateman, and the last two, Trevor Lawrence, Terrace Marshall. Obviously, things are going to change. There are going to be some names on this list that do not make it back into our top 10. And I think you know who they are. Trevor Lawrence, Terrace Marshall. That's a spoiler. But let's get into it. We'll go one by one here, break down why they're falling where they fall, why we like them more than some other guys that didn't make the top 10 even. So number one on the list here, I'm actually going with Jamar Chase. And I think the top three that we're going to pick from here, that we're going to, break down, can all be interchangeable. It just depends on what you're looking for. When I am building a dynasty team, I like to start with the wide receivers just because longevity. Najee Harris, obviously being, 23, 24 years old, is a bit of that can be a deciding factor in, maybe putting him first, second, or third. It's not going to knock him out of that elite tier. But Jamar Chase right now is proving to be arguably one of the best rookies of all time. He's having an all-time great rookie season, wide receiver 8 on the year. And yeah, he's struggled as of late. But to show what he has shown as a rookie is all I need to see to say, he very well could be he's a top 5 dynasty wide receiver already. So I think that alone warrants him being, the number one pick when redrafting this 2021 class. And we just talked about him. Number 2, we have Najee Harris. And look, I get people do not like Najee Harris because he's been inefficient. He hasn't, had those breakaway long runs. It's not really his game. But here's the thing. He's with the Steelers. He's going to be with the Steelers for the next 4 seasons, barring catastrophe, disaster, whatever. And the Steelers just feed running backs. Najee doesn't need to be a super efficient workhorse when he's going to see 350 to 400 touches a year. He gets the pass work. He gets the rush work. He is the clear-cut RB1 from this class right now. Javonte Williams could have something to say about that in a couple of seasons, maybe next year. But right now, you have to take Najee. I mean, he's RB4 on the season. He's already a locked and loaded RB1. You're not playing a guessing game like you might be with Javonte, next year. And moving to number 3, we got Kyle Pitts, the generational tight end. Has it been, the all-world season everybody was anticipating, myself included, with him being I expected to be a top 5 tight end? No, that's not the case. Currently, he's tight end 8. But, I mean, the man is on pace for 110 targets. He has an elite target share. He gets the deep targets. He gets the red zone targets. Basically, if you're looking at Kyle Pitts, he's going to be incredible. And to do what he's already done is already an all-time rookie tight end type of season. So it's not even a question of, will he get there? It's just a matter of when. It could be as early as next year. If Calvin Ridley does not return to football, which, again, nobody knows what is going on there. That's a whole thing we're not going to touch on. If he doesn't return, I don't anticipate them filling that wide receiver 1 role with a high draft pick next year. I think that goes to a QB. So Kyle Pitts is looking at really wide receiver 1 volume at the tight end position. And that's just elite. He's basically a wide receiver. We all know this. He deserves to be the number 3 pick here. And again, for me, that is the first tier of players. After that, we got a couple guys here that I think can all be interchangeable, but these first 3 are locked and loaded. Put them in any order. This is where they need to be. Number 4 on the list, we just talked about him. It is Javonte Williams. And when you watch Javonte Williams, it's impossible not to like what you see. I mean, he has flashed at every single level in the pass game, breaking tackles, in the red zone, outside speed. He has all the tools. It's just a matter of if Melvin Gordon ever goes away. I mean, eventually he's gonna, but this season, he may not play week 13. That could be the catapult for Javonte. But if Melvin Gordon continues to play well, there is an outside chance he gets brought back. And if that happens, again, I love Javonte's talent and everything like that, but the situation may not be ideal for another season or two potentially. That's the only reason he's not in that top 3 tier for me. I mean, he's an awesome talent, leads the league in broken tackle rate and missed tackle rate, whatever you want to call it. The guy's an all-around stud. It's just a matter of, is he going to get the workload? I tend to believe he will next year. I think Melvin's gone. So hopefully that does happen. And, Javonte Williams is a top 10 running back and, obviously a top 10 dynasty running back at that point as well. Moving to number 5 on our list. This one is tough. I think picks 4, 5, 6 are really interchangeable for me. I take Jalen Waddle over Devonta Smith personally. I think Jalen Waddle is tied to the quarterback I like a whole lot more moving forward. I think Jalen Hurts is a fine QB. Spoiler, number 6 is Devonta Smith. I think Jalen Hurts is a fine QB, but I think Tua is a significantly better passer. And Jalen Waddle has shown with the volume, he can be an elite wide receiver. And if you think, oh, it's Jalen Waddle, he's a PPR guy, can't be elite. Well, the last 6 weeks, from week 6 to week 12, or 7 weeks, Jalen Waddle is the number 2 wide receiver in total points and the wide receiver 7 in points per game. The only guy that has outscored him is Cooper Kupp. And yes, there are missed games in there and bye weeks, and I understand that, which is why still being top 10 in points per game shows the type of ceiling Jalen Waddle has every single week. He is an elite weapon. There is a reason he was taken so highly in the NFL draft, and we're seeing it already in his rookie year. I mean, he is, if it was not for Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle would be a superstar pick and people would be going insane. But obviously, next to Jamar Chase, it's just not as impressive. But Jalen Waddle, make no mistake, is an elite wide receiver. We've already seen it. He is very deserving. He could be even put over Javonte Williams. Honestly, I just, this late, prefer the running back over the wide receiver there. That's just personal preference. But we already touched on him. Number 6 is Devonta Smith. And it is important to note, situations do change. Jalen Hurts may not be the quarterback next year. I'm operating under the assumption he is. And that's why, the tiebreaker between him and Waddle, I think they're equally talented. Then I'll lean situation. But Devonta Smith has flashed, wide receiver 26 on the year. The downside is he's played 12 games, which is one more than pretty much everybody else. But still, he's shown he's a great route runner. The size is not an issue. That was the dumbest argument in the world. There's a reason I thought he should have been a top 5 pick last year. And it's because the BMI argument, that whole group of people, whatever you want to think of them, we're just, poo-pooing Devonta Smith. He can't succeed at his size, blah, 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 whatever. That's clearly not true. When given the volume, Devonta Smith has been great. The problem is with Jalen Hurts, you don't always get the volume because it's such a run-heavy offense. Obviously, Miles Sanders and Jordan Howard, Boston Scott are all taking touches away that could go to wide receivers in passing plays. That hasn't happened. He's on pace currently for less targets than Kyle Pitts at tight end. So it's not an issue of talent for Devonta Smith. It's an issue of volume. If he gets it next season, you're looking at a top 20 wide receiver, maybe top 15. But again, I don't anticipate that, which is why, you may be able to buy him a little bit cheaper than some of these other players that have had the volume and the production, whereas Devonta Smith has been more inconsistent because of the volume, not because of the talent. But again, he slots in at number 6 for me. Now, these next 4 spots could have been filled. I had 5 guys on my list here to fill it in. Again, interchangeable. This is a tier break for me. And people may not agree with this next pick, but I think it has to be made. And it's Travis Etienne. Obviously, a top 3 or 4 pick a year or, 6 months ago. He's injured. James Robinson has looked good. So Travis Etienne falls down this list. But I think at this point, you have to go off the draft capital argument. You saw him in college. He's explosive. He's a great pass catcher. He's a good runner. he has a lot of the tools that you need to be a successful, not only NFL running back, but a fantasy running back. And again, people don't like it. Draft capital matters so much. I don't care if you're in year 2, year 3, year 4, as long as you're on your first contract, draft capital matters. So a first round draft pick, they're going to utilize him next year. To what extent, that is a complete mystery. Whoever even the Jaguars head coaches is up in the air. We have no freaking clue. I hope to God it's not Urban Meyer, but it might be. So we have to figure out, where does he actually fit in this offense? And I do think he ends up being a very, very relevant fantasy running back the next 3 or 4 seasons. Beyond that, who knows? Second contract, that's up in the air. But even with him and James Robinson, I think there is room for both of them to succeed. And because of that, I'm going to put Etienne up here over someone like, Elijah Mitchell or Michael Carter based on draft capital. And speaking of those two guys, we have Elijah Mitchell at 8. And I talked with Marco, the other half of 14P here. He has Mitchell over Etienne. So, that's not a crazy assumption. I got plenty of people that have told me, Mitchell over Etienne, and that's fine. I am a enormous Elijah Mitchell fan. If you followed me over on Twitter, Elijah Mitchell was my guy over Trey Sermon. I was very much in on Elijah Mitchell. Now he, has earned the right to be a first-round pick, especially in this draft. The dude's a workhorse. He is explosive. He gets the work. He's in a run-first offense. But again, draft capital, those kind of things can dictate decisions. Also, the weird Kyle Shanahan sophomore hate. He hated Debo second season. He hated Brandon Ayuk to start the year. He hated Dante Pettis. All of those guys, he's just a weird track record. So maybe it's narrative, whatever. It's not really a huge factor, but keep it in mind. Elijah Mitchell deserves to be here. There's really nothing else he can say. He's proven it at every level. Every time he gets work, he produces. Jeff Wilson is a non-factor. Matt Breida's gone. Trey Sermon sucks. Oops. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that. Trey Sermon sucks. Raheem Mostert's hurt. He's going to be a free agent. It's the Elijah Mitchell show moving forward. Again, he has to be a first-round pick if you're looking at it. Number 9, we have another Elijah, another guy Marco and I were insanely high on coming into this draft. Marco and I both had Elijah Mitchell inside of our top 10, as far as rookie picks go. So he was a first-round pick for us this whole time. He was coming in at like pick 13, 14 over on DLF. And the concern was, he's too small. He's going to be a slot wide receiver. That is not the case. That man can ball out at every single level. The only reason he's not higher is, again, it comes down to situation a little bit. Obviously, he has the talent, and he thrived with Joe Flacco and Mike White and pretty much anybody not named Zach Wilson. Unfortunately, Zach Wilson is now the starting quarterback again and will be for the next couple of seasons until the Jets probably have to do it all over again and take another wrong quarterback, whatever they got to do. But Elijah Moore has proven he can succeed in tough situations. It just may be sporadic. He has all the talent in the world. There's really nothing you can say negative about him other than the quarterback play. So if the Jets had not just selected Zach Wilson, I wouldn't put as much stock into QB play for this pick, but it is what it is. Zach Wilson hopefully should improve. I don't think he's completely done. It's his rookie season. Things happen. So if he comes out and shows any inkling of improvement the next couple of weeks and into next season, Elijah Moore could rise even further, in a redraft of the 2021 rookie class. And to close us out, and we only got 10 spots here, 2 guys. I was between 2 guys here, Michael Carter and Rashod Bateman. I think both are deserving of being in the top 10. So everybody calm down if your guy's not in here. Oh, I missed the damn click. There we go. It's Rashod Bateman. Rashod Bateman has flashed enough for me to say, all right, you have the first round draft capital. You are clearly talented. You passed the eye test. It's just been, a late start to the season. He wasn't there the first couple of weeks because he was injured. He's still building a rapport with Lamar Jackson. And, if he comes in next year fully healthy, he has a chance to be, again, a top 24 wide receiver. I don't think that true breakout is coming this year. Again, it's just the volume isn't there. Hollywood Brown has been phenomenal. Mark Andrews is great. Next year, they're going to run more probably with J.K. Dobbins. which is the only reason, and Gus Edwards, excuse me. So, which is the only reason I'm taking Moore over Bateman here. I think both are extremely talented. But Rashod Bateman, he passes the eye test. It's just a matter of situation. That is really what it comes down to with a lot of these guys is we need situations to improve. And realistically, if they're talented enough, the situation will improve for them because they're going to force the hand of the teams they play for. So that is the question. Can Rashod Bateman do that next year? Can coming into camp, he say, I have arrived. I am a wide receiver 1, feature me in this offense. That's the question with him. I don't think it's a question with Elijah Moore, or Elijah Mitchell. I think those guys, we know what's there. Teams know what's there. It's just a matter of, have the ancillary pieces actually working. All right, guys. As always, thank you for checking this out. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us over on Twitter, all that good stuff. All right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
How many snaps did they run in the 14 personnel?
That's only for us.
100% of the snaps.